people. I've got things to do. Delilah and I have been up since like 5 a.m. I've been reviewing a bunch of stuff. And I came across something. Hey, Southern, Melanie, it's nice to see you. There's something going on, and it's with everything and everyone related to the Sebastian Rogers case, and it's just getting more bizarre and more bizarre as this case moves on and as more are being associated with this case. But before we go through that, I wanted to read something to you that I found very interesting. So, this is related to our overstimulation conversation. Good morning, guidance. It's nice to see you, Dawn, Stacy, Denise, Karen. Good morning. Janet, Clarissa, hope you're having a great day. Yada, it's nice to see you. Crazy Times, Jojo Wolf, good morning. Stephanie, good morning to you. Janice, Phil, good morning / afternoon since she's across the pond. Brienne, True Crime Addict, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Lori. Stacy, Margaret, Texas Life, Julie, it's nice to see you. Our chaos, our beautiful chaos is present today. It's nice to see you. Good morning, Sadie. Linda, it's nice to see you. Paula, Oma, Show Poodles, good morning. Karen, it's nice to see you. Gypsy Girl, hello. West Virginia, holla girl. Linda, and our beautiful Sonia in the house. I haven't even got, well, I shouldn't say I haven't gotten out of bed. I have gotten out of bed. I've gotten out of bed. I've done my hair, brushed my teeth, made my coffee, took the dog out, played with the dog. Good gracious, 5 o'clock in the morning. She was like an Energizer bunny. Jesus loves Brenda. It's nice to see you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I wanted to read this related to overstimulation, and then we'll get on to the breaking news. It says, I have 4 sons, 2 of whom are autistic. I'm 59 and recently realized many of the issues I have had since childhood are a result of autism. We call it neurodivergence in autism. It means our nervous systems don't function like normal people's. Autistic people have nervous systems that don't filter out unneeded or unnecessary data and input. The people with a normal nervous system will filter out things like loud noises, bright lights, and any other stimulus that doesn't help them accomplish their task. This causes overstimulation because we take everything around us, whether we need it at the time or not. This in and of itself is overwhelming and exhausting. Sunday night before Sebastian disappeared, he had a very busy day out in the public with lots of smells, lots of sounds, and lots of bright lights. In addition, he ate foods that were not his normal diet, which can overwhelm the GI system and cause GI issues, which can also contribute to overstimulation. The mom never once said anything about Sebastian's nighttime routine. There was no talk about bathing after the day, no talk about snacks before bed, no talk about administration of medication, no talk about brushing his teeth, no talk about changing clothes before bed. If he were overstimulated, his routine would have helped him to calm his nervous system and unwind to prepare to go to sleep. Autistic people love routines and are often very OCD about their routine. I find it very odd that these routines are not been mentioned in any interviews. One last point, autistic children tend to have meltdowns when they become overstimulated, especially if they were told to do something they don't wish to do. However, adults and a small number of autistic children crave quiet and time alone to cope with overstimulation. When I'm overstimulated, I feel overwhelmed and very tired. My muscles ache, my stomach may be upset, especially if it's been a stressful day, and it feels as if every nerve ending in my body is standing on end. I almost feel like buzzing sensation that makes me feel on edge, irritable, and exhausted. One would expect a feeling of impending doom, but I don't feel like that kind of anxiety. But I do feel anxious or feel anxiety. It simply manifests differently in me than other people. I believe the marks on the stepfather's arm were a result of a very overstimulated young man who was not respected and he lost it. So I thought that was interesting. Good morning, everybody else coming in. Maddie Dawn, it's nice to see you all. So, getting over to the breaking news for today. Um, something happened on the 16th at 3:15 a.m. And as you know, that was just 3 hours ago. I wanted to go over this with you because it was posted publicly, and I feel comfortable and confident I can express this incident to you guys. The incident time was 3:15 this morning, November 16th. At approximately 3 a.m. on November 16th, two unidentified males were observed engaging in a calculated and potentially intimidatory behavior at a private residence in Pennsbury Township. The incident raises concerns about targeted harassment or other disruptive activity aimed at night personnel or associated contractors. The suspects fled moments before Pennsylvania State Police arrived. So, a very serious matter. A lot of people think that these injunctions are, they don't realize what people are going through because everybody's keeping it hush hush on in the public while doing dirty deeds behind the scene. And that's the problem that is not being understood by many people. These are illegal activities. These are illegal activities been driven by a group of people that are constantly inciting their audience and inciting other people to keep moving the post and doing more criminal activity. And when it's getting to a breaking point, then they start going more real life, showing up at people's residence, trying to intimidate them, trying to make them back down. And this, I feel like, maybe what could be present here. So here's the incident details. Both individuals concealed their identities with hooded sweatshirts. One individual acted aggressively, banging on the front door, while the other stayed back, acting as if it was a lookout. Individual 1, clothing, black hoodie with large Purdue logo, gray sweatpants, accessory, blue wristband, possibly from a recent event or venue. Build, stocky, holding a small object in their right hand. Very serious matter here. Individual 2, clothing, dark hoodie with white lettering on the sleeve. Build, slim, standing further back as if monitoring the area. What we need from you. If you recognize these individuals or have seen them in the area, please report any information to authorities listed below. If you are in the vicinity during the time of the incident and noticed anything unusual, your observations could be vital. Contact information: Pennsylvania State Police Troop J, and that number is 610-268-2022. Let me read that again for the State Police Troop J, 610-268-2022. Anonymous tip line is at tips@manhunts.one or at 844-922-3236. Good morning, everybody coming in. We have some breaking news coming out. This is related to the Sebastian Rogers case and the constant intimidation and harassment, real life events that keep happening to people that are actively working this investigation. And it appears that a couple people, again, I'm going to go over there, concealed their identities and started aggressively banging on a front door. Based upon the paragraph above, it sounds like people are aiming activity at night personnel and associated contractors. Oh, thank you, Melanie. God bless you. The individual 1, he's more stocky, holding a small object in his right hand. Very scary, to say the least. A black hoodie with a large Purdue logo on it, gray sweatpants, accessory, a blue wristband, possibly from a recent event or venue. The second individual is a dark hoodie with white lettering on the sleeve, slim, standing further back as if monitoring the area. I'm going to show you the individuals that may be responsible or at least caught in this Ring doorbell camera. If you recognize these individuals or have seen them in the area, please report any information to authorities. The authorities are Pennsylvania State Police, Troop J 610-268-2022. Anonymous tips at manhunts.1, one is spelled out, or 844-922-3236. If you've seen something suspicious, do not approach. Contact law enforcement immediately. All tips can remain anonymous. The individual's methodical behavior and retreat without interaction implies a potential reconnaissance or intimidation effort targeted at night interests. This aligns with recent threat model indicated escalation in indirect actions against critical personnel and affiliated operations. Please share this post to assist with identifying the people. About the I think I can do it just like this. Let's see. Nope. Sorry. Let me turn the TV off. Can you guys see that? Trying to get it. They are blurry photos, so we do have the blurry from a Ring doorbell camera. Here's a more close. Can't see their face. I'm sorry, the person behind me, behind that person, here it is. I don't know if you can see this person right here. They've identified it as a male. I don't know. This to me looks like a female, but I could be wrong. You can see the white lettering down it, the Purdue on this person. They're covering their face with hoods. And so that is it. This is a little scary. This is a little scary. So that's what we're doing right now, trying to locate this person. If you would like to, this is an attempt to identify. It is on the At Night Intelligence Agency Twitter account. So if you'd like to get more information or see the video or the footage, there's no video. They just took screenshots. But if you'd like to get a clearer image of that, that's where you would want to get it, and that's at Private at Night. This is a little shocking, to say the least. I don't know really what else to say about that. We'll get back for the people that are coming in later, and we'll go back over this before we close out the show today. But wanted to have that brought up. Give me just a second. There's a couple other things that I wanted to bring up before we get into the meat and potatoes. This is a case that is near and dear to one of our audience members, and I just wanted to throw this out there. This is Kayla Berg. She's been missing for some time, since August 11th, 2009, and hasn't been seen or heard from since. She's been missing for 15 years out of Wisconsin. She was 15 years old when she disappeared. She would be 31 right now. She's white, female at the time of her disappearance, 5 foot 2 inches tall, 180 pounds. She was classified endangered missing. Kay May Berg, which they go by KK, born August 29th, 1993, was a teenager who disappeared from Wisconsin in 2009. She was last seen by friends of her brother in, I can't pronounce this, Wausau, W-A-U-S-A-U. My hooked on phonics is broken. Unless somebody tells me how to pronunciate that, I'm not going to be able to do it. She resided in the city of Antigo. Berg's latest age progression depicts her at 26. So I just wanted to read this, and here's a picture of her at the time of her disappearance. If you guys recognize her, there has been people have been looking for her for well over 15 years with no information. So here's the case. Shortly before her 16th birthday, Berg was allegedly last seen with her brother's friend, who claimed to have dropped her off at her ex-boyfriend's home in WAUSAU, Wisconsin. 6 days passed before she was reported missing. The building she was left at was actually a vacant residence. The circumstances surrounding the nature of her disappearance are unclear. Authorities couldn't find conclusive evidence she was murdered. Speculation of her being a runaway was later dismissed as she fails to contact loved ones subsequently. In 2016, the case received widespread media coverage when a 2009 video surfaced showing a young woman bound in a man's residence. It was later determined that it had no link to the case and the individuals were actors. Characteristics: brown hair, brown eyes, pierced navel, and double pierced ears, scar on the right side of her nose, right cheek, and right shin. Abdominal scars from laparoscopic surgery. Appendix was removed. Clothing and accessories, so she'll have an appendix removal scar, which is pretty obvious if you see around the hip area. Red spaghetti strap top, dark blue hooded sweatshirt, blue jeans, tan low-heeled sandals, and silver ring necklace. And here's a bunch of pictures of her if you guys know anything about her whereabouts. Her name is Kayla Berg out of Wisconsin. Age progressed photo. People are looking for her. Just my initial assessment, I don't like the brother's friend taking her to this ex-boyfriend's house, which ended up being a vacant property. That to me doesn't make sense. Just reading just this basic information, I would definitely be focusing on more information from the brother's friend at this moment, as opposed to the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend's information might be helpful as well, but they don't list who the brother's friend is, and it's I just don't like the way it sounds and the way they wrote this out. It just implies that there might be something there, just in my opinion. So that is that. And then lastly, big shout out to Hindsight 2002. I was going to record this and I didn't get a chance to. I was watching it, but I didn't record it. And I should have pulled out the computer, done a screen record, and got this uploaded, but I didn't. And I thought it was a good interview. I don't like Gray Hughes. I don't like Gray Hughes. I think he is he does great work on certain things, but his breakdown over this, he feels I feel like he's got bitten by the publicity, and I just think he's going to, at the end of this, is going to fail on his face. But he seemed like when it came to him, he was walking back and being a little more softer on his stance that he has had. But he was in a public eye, and he's most likely wrong. But he was a lot softer tone than he would have been, say, on another podcast where he would be, dogging people for having the opinion. But that's why I don't really care for him. I'm the same way, whether I'm in the public spotlight on, court TV as I am here. I have my opinions. I'm very strong on my opinions. When I do my fact finding and my research, and I know what I've uncovered and I know what I've seen, I make my assessments based upon the stuff I've collected and I know where it came from. He does good videos when we need to have like overlay of graphics. For example, the walking of the dogs, that was really good, like that. Just don't care about his commentary. I could live without it. I just want to see the videos. I want to see the work. I don't want to hear the mouth. So anyways, this is the interview last night on Court TV. If you guys did not get a chance to see it, I haven't seen where it's dropped anywhere from Court TV. So a big shout out to Hindsight 2002 for capturing this and getting this up. So I wanted to see it. So the next 20 minutes, we're going to listen to this. I'm going to try to stop it, or try not to stop it as much. But there was, once they get away from Dog and the attorney, Dog, it sounds to me like Dog knows something. I'm sorry, whether he can say it or not, it sounds to me like him and the team are onto something. I feel like this is I feel like dogs. I know Dog and Nick work hand in hand together, and I know that they communicate regularly together about the progress or any information of leads or anything like that. And I feel like they've had a succinct message from one to the other, but hearing Dog last night and articulating how he feels and knowing that, that the at night team, in Oregon and New York and Canada, sometimes, and I don't talk to them about this stuff, but I'm honest with my audience. Sometimes it feels like, there might be a distraction in an effort to unearth information. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're looking over here, you can't be looking over here type of thing. I'm sorry. I just feel that way. And it's because we've been reading updates from at night, but then you see Dog on here. It's like, I feel like he knows something more than we all know. And I pay attention to body language. I pay very much attention to words and how words are articulated and what they're saying. Hey, Guidance. Hey, it's me, Jen. It's nice to see you. Eeyore Blue, good morning. Good morning. And Smart Thing, your part to protect yourself and your children. It's always, we are responsible. Don't forget to hit that like button as you guys are coming in, guys. That helps put us in the algorithm. We work really hard around here. Today's Saturday. I've got baby wake up at 5 a.m. Now officially sleeping, which I find quite ironic since she wouldn't let me sleep. I wonder if I should shake her. Wake up. Wake up. You wouldn't let me sleep. What, you don't like? Why are you awake? What, you can't sleep with that? For all of you guys, I'm going to do this. You're already popping up. See, don't run away. Don't run away. Just say hi. Just say hi. Look at that little face. They're so cute. You guys got to admit, she's a cutie pie. Cutie patootie. Cutie patootie, our beautiful crime-fighting Delilah. See, I'm a crime fighter. Yeah. Okay. Now we're done with crime fighter. Okay. So this is going to be about 20 minutes, and I just wanted to kind of, forewarn you. I will probably stop it. Let me see if I can get this set up. And of course, I got the light on above, which always screws with it because it's got a shiny. I need to get a different screen. It's not so shiny. That's more matte. Okay, let's see if we can get this.
Welcome to Vinny Politan Investigates. I'm Ted Rowlands, filling in for Vinny. The subject of our investigation is a 15-year-old boy who hasn't been seen since February 25th, when his mother says he went to bed, and the next morning, he was gone. Days have turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but the search continues for Sebastian Rogers. Here is his story. Inside this beautiful neighborhood in Hendersonville,
hold on.
Tennessee,
The light's too much. The light's too much. Hold on a second. Let me fix the light. I'll just turn the light off so it's driving me nuts. And if it's driving me nuts, it's got to be driving you guys nuts. Give me just a second. Maybe this will work a little better. Let's see. We got the lights off. Let me see if I can here without, because I am in my pajamas. I ain't lying. It's Saturday. It's your birthday. Okay, that might work a little better. Let me put the. What, you want under the covers? Oh, gracious. Okay. All right, get under the covers. There you go. We have issues here this morning. Okay. Much better.
It was a Sunday night going into a Monday morning, and 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers was supposed to be inside his home sleeping. His mother, Katie Proudfoot, says Sebastian went to bed around 9 o'clock, but was making some noises an hour later, including, she says, a thud sound. Katie says she told him to go to sleep, and she herself went to bed at midnight. Then, at 6 a.m., Katie says she woke up, went into Sebastian's room to get him ready for school, but he was gone. Sebastian's stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, wasn't at home, and his father was 45 minutes away at work. Police responded and began trying to figure out what happened. That was February 26, 2024. And as the days and weeks, now months have passed, there's still no sign of Sebastian. No sign of foul play and no answers about what happened. Did someone harm Sebastian? Did he just walk away? We're searching for those answers as we investigate the mysterious disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. And for weeks after Sebastian's disappearance, a massive search effort took place over the areas of Tennessee, near and far from Sebastian's home in Hendersonville. Multiple law enforcement agencies participated. There was ground, aerial, water searches. Nothing has led to the return of Sebastian. Now, official law enforcement agencies, they've completely dialed back, at least with organized searches, but another group of...
They've dialed back with everything.
Investigators still working very hard to find him. Here is an update we received today from Dog the Bounty Hunter and At Night Private Intelligence, a branch of One World. New leads suggest possible sightings or related activity in Oregon and New York. And we are pursuing all tips with heightened urgencies, and that brings us to our first question of this hour, and that's an obvious one. Where is Sebastian Rogers tonight? As so many people continue to look for him and worry about this young man. Let's bring in Dwayne Chapman, aka Dog the Bounty Hunter. He's with us. He's joined this search effort for Sebastian, and he has dedicated a lot of resources, including his time, and attorney Joe Lesniak, who's assisting with the legal aspects of this search. Good evening to both of you. Dog, let's start with the updates. Where are we here? And if you could, just give us a little bit of more detail on these possible leads in specifically, it sounds like the Pacific Northwest, Oregon, and then something over on the New York-Canadian border.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you having us on the show, and I'm glad my lawyer's there. Let me tell you something, because sometimes I stick my foot in my mouth. So
he does stick his foot in his mouth.
I'm here, Dog.
Thank you, sir. So first of all, I don't mean to spin this, but you said a lot of law enforcement and volunteers and all that were out there searching. Let me tell you the truth, and nothing but the truth. Chris Proudfoot was threatening all kind of people that they should go home. Why are they there? He allegedly sprayed some neighbor with water, because they were asking. So a lot of people, let's say, tried to, help and volunteer, but Proudfoot and his cronies, or maybe by himself, was threatening them, stopping
you got it
them.
right, cronies.
And I don't know why the people that were threatened and threatened by him allegedly didn't call the police or
I did.
What is it called?
Twice.
The TBI. I don't know why the TBI hasn't done nothing unless they're neck deep in it too. I talked to one of the guys, and it was ridiculous. We want the FBI, the marshals. We need the FBI. We need the marshals in on this. And let me tell you about them. They will find what happened to the little boy. They will find Sebastian, what happened to him.
What do you think happened to him, Dwayne? I mean, it seems it's very hard to get your head around that he has not turned up after this long of a period of time. Do you believe he was abducted? Is he? What's your gut telling you now that you've you know enough and have invested enough here? What's your gut say?
Well, first of all, please call me Dog. That's okay to call me Dog. And there's a lot of possibilities. Okay, the worst possibility, of course, you could guess that. But we've checked into sex slaves. There's a lot of kids that are autistic.
Hold on.
18 years old.
La. We know it's not ST. So I just don't. I don't know.
They just caught a kid, I think, 8 or 9 years old, yesterday or the day before. So, we want to show those kids pictures of Sebastian. We want to show them those little kids got, sometimes they can ID someone a lot better than anyone else. So we want to show those kids pictures. But again, the ones that I guess found the kids is the TBI. I hate to sound redundant, but we need the federal marshals and we need the feds in on this.
You mentioned the Proudfoots, Chris and Katie Proudfoot. Katie Proudfoot, for those who haven't been following this, is the mother of Sebastian. She was the last person to see him. Chris, the stepfather, and we invited them on tonight. We did get a hold of them. They declined. Joe, there has...
They are. Of course they will.
Joe, there's been some pretty nasty rhetoric going on online. Not only, not just people attacking the Proudfoots, but Seth Rogers has been the victim here of a lot of hate. Where is that coming from?
I think a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands. Chris, I think what happens is they get caught up in...
Inside this beautiful
Sorry.
neighborhood in Hendersonville,
We'll get it back.
Tennessee.
We'll get it back. Okay. Sorry.
Inside this beautiful neighborhood.
I kind of...
And then something over on the New York-Canadian border.
Let me get back to
Here, what's your gut say?
Oh, we already listened to that.
Well, first of all, please
Sorry.
call me dog.
I hit the wrong button.
We did get a hold of them. They declined.
Oh.
Joe,
In on this. Yes, found the kids. Is the you call me dog.
Okay, we're just gonna start from here.
There's
Sorry.
a lot of possibilities.
I hit something.
Okay, the worst possibility, of course, you could guess that. But we've checked into sex slaves.
I forgot about that. I just want to make sure that that's...
5 to 18 years old for. So, we want to show those kids
There we go.
pictures of Sebastian. We want to show them those little kids got, sometimes they can ID someone a lot better than anyone else. So we want to show those kids pictures. But again, the ones that I guess found the kids is the TBI. I hate to sound redundant, but we need the federal marshals and we need the feds in on this.
you mentioned the Proudfoots, Chris and Katie Proudfoot. Katie Proudfoot, for those who haven't been following this, is the mother of Sebastian. She was the last person to see him. Chris, the stepfather, and we invited them on tonight. We did get a hold of them. They declined.
You're surprised.
Joe, there has...
They are. Of course they will.
Joe, there's been some pretty
YouTuber.
nasty rhetoric going on online. Not only, not just people attacking the Proudfoots, but Seth Rogers has been the victim here of a lot of hate. Where is that coming from?
I think a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands.
We know where it's coming from.
Because I think what happens is they get caught up in their own rhetoric, as you said, and their own story, and they want to try and create headlines. They want to try and create something that's not there. They create smoke, and then they point to the smoke that they created. And you're sitting there going, stop, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. And yet they don't care because the smoke generates more advertising, more smoke, and more people. And they attack not only Seth, but anybody who's aligned themselves with Seth Rogers. Seth is, and Dog and all these individuals are trying to help find this young man, and they constantly are attacking anybody who's ever latched on to Seth Rogers and the search for Sebastian. And that should send up signals. I've been practicing in the criminal defense and criminal prosecution world for almost 20 years and prosecute sexual offenders and other types of cases, kidnapping cases, and it should send up a red flag to law enforcement of people who are degrading and putting down and trying to drag through the mud the people who are helping. And so these bloggers and these content creators,
welcome back, my love.
There are some that are very helpful and getting the name out and the information out, and then there are others who are just, like you said, dragging people through the mud for their own education and their own desires to get headlines and people to come and listen to them. And to me, as Andy Wall said, everybody
Thank you,
gets their 15
Holly.
minutes of fame.
Teresa,
Their
welcome
15
to
minutes
this
are up.
insane asylum we
And
call the
we're
Coffee
tired
Club.
of it. We're not going to sit tight and let these people utilize these powerful platforms online to drag and defame individuals who are trying to find, one who's trying to desperately find his son, and others who are trying to find this young man on behalf of his father and his family. And so we have taken action, and we are moving forward in everything we can to stop it and continue doing investigation here, and that is to find Sebastian.
Dog, when you have a mother who does not seem to want to participate in the search for her child, at least publicly, what does that tell you, mother and stepfather, the Proudfoots I'm speaking of?
Well, brother, I'll leave that up to your viewers to decide. As far as I've done this way over 40 years, and I lost a baby girl, Barbara Katie at 22 years old. 19 years ago, I barely still can talk about it. So that is like unbelievable. And I also heard that there's witnesses.
I think he's describing their behavior, just my personal opinion. Hold on, let me take this, rub that on there. Hopefully you guys can see. There we go. Maybe you can see. Dismissive behavior of not really showing any emotion. I have to think that that's bothering a lot of people. I know that's one of the number one things that are bothering me personally is the lack of emotion, the lack of urgency, the wanting just to get on with their life and no worry and hide. And people that hide have reasons to hide. Okay. We've watched Seth go through being called a pedo, being, some of the most ungodly things said about him. He's underage girl, prego and stuff like that. I mean, and he's still out here showing his face. He's still out here fighting for his son, while the two military trained people that are trained to stand in the face of adversary are the ones that appear to be hiding and trying to hide themselves from the world. It doesn't make people that are out looking for their son feel very good. We understand that social media is hostile in some respects, especially when there's emotional cases like the Sebastian Rogers case. But it's not, from my purview, they're not getting near what Seth is getting and going through, yet Seth is the one showing up and putting up each and every day for his son, in the face of adversary, in the face of the BS, in the face of the Brady, could you bring listen, I don't know. I don't know if I could or anything like that. I've never asked him because I've been working. Number one is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and bringing him home. Everything else is kind of by the wayside. All we're doing is keeping his name out there, putting things in people's, putting ideas and thought processes in people's mind to see if anything shakes loose, if there's any nugget of information, welcoming leads and stuff to help locate him. Dog is a well-known person, a world-known, basically the only, I don't know of any bounty hunter that has his resume in the world. So if I ever did, I did interview him, back in 2021 when he was in front of Cassie Laundrie's house, but I don't know. Who knows? Is there a little dog in Bullhorn Betty's future? I don't know. We'll see.
That once Sebastian was in the front yard, and Chris Proudfoot was screaming at him, and he called him a retard, and Sebastian hit the ground and started bawling. So, all these, what is the old saying, all roads point to Rome? This is like almost obvious.
Well, if they were involved, though, Doug, then one would think they didn't have a ton of time. They didn't have time.
I disagree with that. I think they had more time than anybody, actually, because if you think about it, according to Peter Hyatt, he believes that whatever would have happened, if it did happen, if that's the theory that you're going with inside the home, it would have happened shortly before the telephone call, which is at 9:43. This child wasn't reported missing until 6:33 the next day. If you look at Alec Murdaugh literally had several minutes, 7 or 9 minutes, I can't remember which, a ridiculous amount of minutes that he committed the most atrocious type of crime. And, if you look at Brian Kohberger, that was within a few minutes, unspeakable crime. So I don't know how much time this gentleman, he's on court TV. He sees a lot of these cases. He's watched a lot of these cases. What time? What time is he referring to? Because they had more time than most of the criminals that commit some of the most atrocious acts of human nature. So they had more than enough time, hours upon hours. Let's talk about 9:43 to 6:33 in the morning. You're talking about almost 7 hours. What is that, 6 hours? 8 hours? Something like that. Somebody do the math for me and figure out how much time it is. That's a lot of freaking time to do something. So I kind of disagree with this anchor. Not that I'm calling him out or anything. Seems nice. Just wants to learn a little more about the case, whatever the case may be. But as far as time, these people had more time than a lot of the criminals that are on going to court right now. I mean, to the few minutes from Alec Murdaugh to the 8 or 9 minutes for Brian Kohberger. These people had hours, not minutes. So 8.5 hours, Yeda says. 8.5 hours. That's a full day's worth of work. I really just disagree with the fact that they didn't have time. They've had a lot of time.
Of sophistication, one would think, where is Sebastian, and how could they, let's say the worst did happen.
Yeah, Lisa reminds us.
How would they have gotten away with it? Is this a shoddy?
Lisa reminds us, that's the 17 hours. Actually, we don't know if it was 17 because it started out at 24 and ended at 17. So 17 to 24 hours not accounted for by the stepdad, Lisa reminds us.
Investigation from day one?
Well, somewhat. Somewhat. It's the police, it's the TBI. I guess they're ahead. Their lead guy is ahead of it. So yeah, put blame where it falls. That guy, it's just incredible. I can't believe that. But what our leads could say, there is a manhole right in front of the Proudfoot's property. And they said, yeah, the drone or the cops.
This is an interesting statement from Dog that I thought was interesting that night. I was still last night, but I still dismissed it in part. But what he says does make my brain start, cranking on what he's about to drop. Let's listen.
Somebody said they flew drones in there, and there's like 3 foot of mud. Okay. Then a dog, a really good dog, 2 of them, one of them stopped at the edge of the pond that was drained, and the other one jumped in the pond. If Sebastian was put down that manhole into the mud, the scent would have carried to that pond.
Wow.
So
interesting.
I want to know why they have blocked that off, got in some kind of suit, and went on their hands and knees and looked in that, manhole and all the way to the pond. Dogs, their sense of smell is so much more than a human being. And for a German Shepherd to jump in the water, well, they drain the pond. Yeah, because he could be in that manhole, in that little, cave, whatever they call it, inside there where it drains to that pond. So there's a lot of things that the TBI could be doing. and haven't done nothing. Now, I heard they flew a drone in there. Well, you know how muddy that is and how thick of mud is in there? You know, flying a drone on top inside is not going to do nothing.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get right. Coming up next, we're going to ask what is the current status of the investigation. Our guests are going to stay with us. Be back with more right after this.
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out.
We're not ruling anything out.
At this point, we don't have any evidence. There is not any kind of an indication that there is a criminal element involved. But we are.
DNA says that narco diver checked the manholes and nothing. But when did he check them? Because was it after considerable time had lapsed? Because we have to account for 17 to 24 hour trip as well. So, yep, and Merle's mom reminds us lack of evidence is evidence. I do believe that. I've said that from day one. To me, it seems like the lack of evidence is the most loud evidence in this case, because how can you have nothing if this child walked out of the house? So it's perplexing.
Keeping options open. We don't know what has happened. We don't know where Sebastian is right now, so we are pursuing any and all avenues.
That was Sumner County Sheriff's Deputies Eric Craddock and Susan Hyland of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. She was the second person, obviously, at a press conference in the month after Sebastian was reported missing. About the same time, Deputy Craddock spoke with reporter Nick Barris from WTVF in Nashville about whether or not they'd cleared anybody from the immediate family as being a suspect in this case. Take a listen.
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
That was in April of 2024, a little more than a month into the search for Sebastian, and the official word from police was that nobody's been cleared, but still there's no evidence of foul play, yet one would think that foul play absolutely is involved here. And that brings us to our next question. What is the current status of this investigation so many months after Sebastian Rogers first went missing? We still have with us Dog the Bounty Hunter and his lawyer to keep him in check, Joe Lesniak. Dog, you're in Tennessee. What's going on? Is there anything you can share with us in terms of new developments in your investigation?
Officers, you know, I respect law enforcement so much, and they were saying way back then that they had no leads. Okay, nobody should be charged or blah blah blah. But now, what about now? What about today? What about last week? I think you guys need to do interviews now. Update everybody. What about right now after all these things have come forward? And a lot of people online, whatever, are saying, Dog, what gives you the right? What gives you the right? You're a bounty hunter. What gives you the right? Well, what gives me the right is Tennessee has one of the greatest of all time laws. It's called the Citizen's Right to Arrest Law. You talk about booting a door in and going in and grabbing them. I can do that. I'm a citizen. Whether I'm Dog the Bounty Hunter, Dwayne Lee Chapman, or I have the right as a citizen of the United States of America to put in custody and take out the person that hurt or whatever happened to little Sebastian.
So, are you onto something?
Yes, sir.
Can you share?
Well,
this is where it starts getting dicey.
I know who the weakest link is. You get in Tennessee, bro, that's the death penalty.
I'm telling you, it sounds like there's more here that we just don't know about. It seems like Dog, in all fairness, is strong in his convictions of what he's uncovered.
That is the death penalty. Would they rather go to Would they rather go to lethal injection, or would they rather be paroled in 20 years or something? They still would have time to, live a life. So that one of the Tennessee carries the death penalty.
Let me get this straight. You're on to a lead. You're there in Tennessee. You're actively pursuing it. And
Yes, sir.
now, I get that you have the right to move forward with what you believe is possibly detaining an individual or two, or I don't want any details because you're being cagey. But do you have to alert law enforcement before you make any sort of a move to let everybody know, hey, I'm here and here's what I'm doing?
No, sir. I don't have to alert no one. I cannot transport. I can arrest cops. And then the cops come or whoever to read that person their rights and transport them to jail. I can do everything but read them their rights or transport. But under the law, the United States of America, I can arrest.
Give us a little hint. Like, did you is this someone who has always been part of the landscape, or is this something new? Or don't jump in, Joe, and have him stop.
Well, I have to jump in and have him stop. Wait, a dog, you can't, yes, you're, Ted, both of them are possibly right. So, good questions, but yes. There's a private investigator also involved that we need to keep secure as well. So, I know you're looking for information, but we got to be careful how far we go.
Talk about that. All right, we're going to let this play out, and hopefully we'll be one of your first calls when you make a break in this case. We're all hoping that, because that's what everybody's hoping for. In fact,
well, I carry a film crew with me everywhere I go, brother.
Yes, the reward up to 170K.
That's why it's so important to record when you're on boots on the ground. And I'm very thankful I recorded everything while I was there, even though you guys haven't seen everything that I had while I was there. I have it in a file, and my attorney, all my attorneys have access to it. So at any given time, but the film crew is important. Everybody teases people like me that are out there on boots on the ground that record everything. It's for our protection as much as it is for everybody else's, while obtaining the content necessary for our shows.
$175,000. That's a lot of money. There seems to be a lot of interest in this country still in finding Sebastian, which is fantastic. Can you talk about the people that you have behind you, dog, that are helping to support your investigation?
Well, there's several, many.
Sebastian's Army, baby.
Their names, but it's all, it's not like we're preaching in a church and taking offering. But there are a lot of people that have pledged their money to whoever. It's kind of tricky about rewards, okay? We want what happened to Sebastian. So the reward goes to whoever can tell us where Sebastian is and or what happened to him. And Joe, I hope this doesn't, you've heard all this, and you guys are good at Court TV, and who do you think did it?
Joe won't let me answer, so I'm just leave it at that.
Attorney, go ahead.
Gentlemen, thank you for all you're doing, and because the goal is here to find this young man.
Yes, it is.
Find Sebastian Rogers, hopefully alive and well. Joe Lesniak, Dwayne Chapman, Dog the Bounty Hunter, thank you both for everything, and keep us updated, please, as this continues, this investigation.
Well, thank you for having us on and keeping this at the forefront. It's shows like this that really help to, like you said, keep it moving forward and keep it on people's minds, because as time goes on, we as Americans, people will lose sight of it. So thank you.
You got it. All right. I'm Ted Rollins.
Don't worry about it, Joe. Don't worry about it, Joe. Bullhorn Betty, she doesn't mind keeping things in the spotlight, like going to jail for not committing a crime, those types of things, uncovering a lot more in a community than she should know, you know. So don't worry, don't worry. This is gonna be top of mind for the foreseeable future, especially for this channel, because this is a family that needs help. Seth needs help. Sebastian needs to be brought home. And this is freaking nuts. This whole case, the intimidation, the constant harassment, and of course, I promise you guys, I would go back over it for the people that are late to the party this morning. We have breaking news update that came in about 3 o'clock this morning from the At Night Intelligence, Private Intelligence X account. And this is very, very serious. We have an attempt to identify a suspicious activity, and this is in Pennsbury, Chester County, Pennsylvania. It happened around 3 a.m. this morning. So I'm just going to read this and show you guys everything that you guys need to see, because honestly, this is a little scary. And I try to tell people that these things are happening and have been happening for quite some time, although these content creators are keeping it silent and keeping it off of these streets publicly. These things are going on behind the scenes, and now that we're exposing all of this stuff, it's kind of becoming more and more noticeable, and we have the ability to get it out a lot quicker and show you guys what is truly going on. So this is an attempt to identify. So please stick with me as I read through this and show you guys who we need to help identify. So at approximately 3 a.m. on November 16th, which was this morning, 2 unidentified males were observed engaging in calculated and potentially intimidatory, I can't ever say that word, behavior at a private residence in Pennsbury Township. The incident raises concerns about targeted harassment or other disrupted activities aimed at night personnel or associated contractors. The suspects fled the moments before Pennsylvania State Police arrived. These are the incident details. Both individuals concealed their identities with hooded sweatshirts. One individual acted aggressively, banging on the front door, while the other stayed back as if acting as a lookout. Individual 1, black hoodie with a large Purdue logo, gray sweatpants, accessories, blue wristband, possibly from a recent event or venue, stocky build, holding a small object in the right hand, which is a little scary. What was that small object? Individual 2, clothing, dark hoodie with white lettering on the sleeve, build slim, standing further back as if monitoring the area. What they need from the public. If you recognize these individuals or have seen them in the area, please report any information to authorities listed below. If you were in the vicinity during the time of the incident and noticed anything unusual, your observations could be vital. The contact information is Pennsylvania State Police Troop J, 610-268-2022, and there's an anonymous tip line set up at tips@manhunts with an S.1 spelled out O-N-E, or at 844-922-3236. If you see something suspicious, do not approach. Contact law enforcement immediately. All tips can remain anonymous. Individuals' methodical behavior and retreat without interaction implies a potential reconnaissance or intimidation effort targeting at-night interests. This aligns with recent threat models indicated escalation in indirect action against critical personnel and affiliated operations. Please share this post to assist with identifying these individuals. I am sharing now. Please be on the lookout and on the lookout and report anything suspicious. exclamation mark, repost. And here are the photos right here of the individuals. You see the first one, stockier, taller, thicker, Purdue hoodie, gray sweatpants, and you see somebody holding their head down, trying to stay out of the camera. They say these are two males. I don't know. With these shoes down here, I keep thinking it's a female. And I don't know why. And maybe it's because of the height, but it could be two males. So there's that. There's the Purdue holding it way over the face. The other person, you can see head drop down, kind of looking at the ground, much further behind. Something is in one of these people's hands, which is very concerning. What could be in the hand? But there's something in the hand. Could it have been a hammer? Could it have been, God knows what it could have been. It's something. And there it is. You can see it in the hand. I can't see what it is. Something. So that's concerning for everybody involved. And here's the blue wristband. And it does look like an event band on them, the little ones that had the sticky tabs on it. So if this person looks familiar, if you were at a club, an event in that area, and you remember seeing somebody in gray pants and a hooded sweatshirt that has Purdue on it, please notify law enforcement. They are actively looking for these people to question them in this early hour attempt at something at 3 a.m. What is somebody at 3 a.m. doing at somebody's front door, beating on it, and then taking off before law enforcement gets there? It seems awfully suspicious, especially when a lot of people that have been working this particular case specifically have been intimidated and threatened and physically harassed in person. These are things that the hate channels are saying are not taking place, that they're all lies. We don't see this stuff here from their camp. We only hear about it. Oh my God, this, that, and the other. You're seeing proof. This is the second time in less than a month this kind of event has taken place at an at-night employee or contractors, associated contractors' home. This is the second time. This right here is what we are talking about. This right here is what I have been saying has been going on for years. And they're getting more and more aggressive, If people want to know why like Joe Lesniak said, there is action being taken. You want to know why action is being taken? This nonsense right here that has been going on, and people think this is okay behavior. And it's getting worse, and it's getting worse, and it's getting worse. Something has to be done. So who better to take the wheel and get something done than Joe Lesniak, the At Night team, and Dog the Bounty Hunter? I'm sorry for whoever is associated with this case and this happened to. This must be very scary and intimidating. There is something definitely going on behind the scenes, and I want people to know you need to quit supporting these content creators that are inciting and facilitating this type of conduct. They're saying to your face that it's not happening while doing it behind the scenes. So please, guys, it is happening, and this kind of conduct has got to be denounced. Somebody is going to get hurt or lose their life by this conduct. And everybody that has been supporting it will have blood on their hands and will be to blame when somebody finally does get hurt. This is no longer a joke. People need to mind their own damn business, stay in their own damn lane. You want to talk about the case, talk about the case. Going real life and trying to destroy people is not a great path forward. Something has got to be done. I just find it awfully bizarre that these things keep happening and being targeted toward anybody and everybody that's working on the case with the affiliation to Seth Rogers. You don't see this stuff coming out on anybody else's platforms for any other side other than Seth Rogers. None. They may talk about it. They don't produce anything for receipts. This is receipts. This is the second time in a month. This happened this morning at 3 o'clock. This happened this morning at 3 a.m. Again, scary. This needs to stop. And I hope whoever this was is held to the fullest extent of the law. And I hope that they start looking into, when they find these people, they look into who they have contact with. And start building a case, a criminal case, through that. So a lot is going on here. People need to stand down. People need to stay in their own lane. People need to quit going real life. People just need to stop. They need to stop. All right, guys. Well, that's what we have for the show today. I just want to thank the people here. Hold on. Hit the wrong button here. Hold on. Let me try this one. There we go. Perfect. I want to thank Melanie for the cup of coffee. Joanne for the onset. Thank you. Our beautiful Merle's mom. It's nice to see you. I'm so happy to see your name in the chat this morning. Welcome. I would say welcome to this crazy crew, but you've been part of the family long enough. So welcome back, my love. Welcome back. If you received your gifted membership from Holly S., don't forget to tell her thank you. And me and you said, Betty, could you bring dog on? I don't know. I've never asked. So anyways, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, especially this bolo, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe in this crazy world. And more importantly, it's time for one another. If you have been on the wrong side of things and your anxiety level is up and you can't sleep well and you're just always in the middle of something crazy, maybe it's time to unplug from that and come on over here and be in a little bit of normalcy where your opinions are valued, not your hate. Jackie, thank you for gifting 1 Bullhorn Betty membership. God bless every single one of you, and we'll see you soon.